Tophiachu and the Slydells are down bad. First, the family dog Hershey-Chu ran off into the wilderness, never to be seen again. Then they were on the verge of losing their motel room because they couldn't make the rent. And to top it all off, Tophiachu would be banned from streaming on her main TikTok channel. Tophia made the majority of her money on TikTok through donations during these live streams, and losing them would send her into a spiral the likes of which we had not seen for a very long time. A spiral that continues to this day. For those who don't know about Tophiachu, I highly recommend my first two videos on the subject, but a quick breakdown would be Tophiachu is a TikToker who also involves her family on the platform, gaining infamy for a number of controversies as well as their zany antics. Being as I just made a video on her a month ago, I would usually give it a couple more months before making this one, but so much has happened that it makes my previous video look small in comparison. I previously mentioned that Tophia had lost access to live streaming on her main TikTok account, and this of course has put even more financial strain upon the family. Brother Chu is the only one out working a legitimate job, and now Tophia would be seeing almost no revenue for the month on TikTok. They were already in a good bit of trouble with the motel that they were staying at. Tophia and the family had been short or late on payment numerous times, and one day the complex had enough, kicking them out, making Tophia and her family officially homeless.
I don't have a safe place right now. I really don't have a safe place at all. People can come knocking on my door at all hours, every hour, right? And people have started recently sending pizza again. There is this whole issue of people thinking that life is easy when it's not. I'm not okay. My family is not okay. We're really not okay. We're not. And for people to make these jokes, my mom is disabled. There's a lot going on and we're all going through it. We are not okay. We do not have a safe space. We do not have anywhere. And I'm just more concerned about having a secure place to live rather than paying $400 every week when that money could go towards a house or go towards a stable place.
This was how Tophia let us know about her family's new living situation. Her father was now out of jail but still staying at a homeless shelter, and she, her mom, as well as her brother, were now living out of their car, which no longer functioned and was stationary just down the street from the motel. The Slydells had no means of fixing the car, and they no longer had any money to stay at the hotel, even if they were welcomed back, which they were not. The staff, as well as the management of the hotel, had grown quite angry at the Chu family. So angry that one of the employees decided to hop on TikTok and expose Tophia. At first, the employee doesn't want to say any names, but as the story unravels, it becomes quite clear who she's referring to. The housekeeper, going by Squid, would claim that Tophia and her family had completely trashed the room. But that's not all, because Squid would have a couple of stories to tell us about the family that were nothing short of shocking.
There is a TikToker on here whose name I'm not going to say just in case, who is known for going live, and she's been living out of a motel that I just so happened to work at, and we had to kick them out today and DNR them because they couldn't pay their bill, and I quote, because TikTok didn't pay me. They were disgusting, and I can confirm her room was disgusting. I can also confirm that when they were kicked out this morning, they parked outside of the parking lot, and their mom or grandma took a shit on the sidewalk. I cannot describe to you the smell that was emanating from that room. I could even smell it on her brother when we would pass each other when I was on my way into work and he was going to the Circle K up the street. It's not apartment style living, it's an extended stay hotel, and it is a dump. For my own safety, I'm not going to be dropping the name of the hotel that I work at on the internet to a bunch of strangers, but I promise you I'm telling the truth. Why would I fucking lie about this? I only ever went in their room once, and that was like the week after they got a clean notice, which means that their room was so disgusting that we almost had to kick them out and they had to clean it up to not get kicked out. It was still disgusting and it smelled like ass. I'm pretty sure we had to throw away every single set of sheets that we gave them. They refused to ever let us actually come in and clean, which is part of the reason they got kicked out. And I will do everything in my power to get you pictures and videos of that room, because no one that I work with gives a shit. I mean, there's really not anything to tell except for the fact that they were just disgusting people and you could smell their room a mile away. They only ever wanted sheets. They would barely ever let us into the room. Not that we wanted to go in because it was disgusting. But I can tell you that the reason they had roaches is because their kitchen was absolutely fucking disgusting and it had food on it that was probably older than my nieces and nephews.
Incredibly fascinating stuff, if you ask me. This is a side of the family that Tophia likes to keep hidden. There's a reason that she puts a green screen of her old room up behind her when she streams. And there's a reason that she almost never shows her surroundings in her TikTok videos. It is because the conditions of that room were absolutely terrible. According to Squid, the room stunk of grease and rot. She said that they were never allowed to go into the room to clean, and only delivered fresh sheets to the family. Squid said that the sheets that they did receive back had to be thrown away as they could no longer be laundered. All of this is nothing in the face of what she claimed Tophiachu did on their sidewalk. In what many have called an absolute power move by Tophiachu, she decided to defecate on the motel's sidewalk. This actually happened, and Tophiachu will address it in a clip that I include later in this video. Though evidence will come out later in the timeline, all we had to go on at this point was Squid's word versus Tophia's, and the majority of people watching believed Squid right out of the gate. They had seen the images of Tophiachu's previous living situations, and there were many comparisons to be drawn. At first, the Squid video went under the radar, not noticed by many people, but then it began to pick up steam, and it went absolutely viral. People knew the creator that she was referring to and knew that this was probably the truth of the situation. At first, Tophiachu could ignore it, but now that Squid's video had accumulated millions of views, she had no choice, angrily responding on her Instagram story.
Yes, the lady that posted the video is a housekeeper. She's not telling you 100% of the full story. She doesn't know 100%, so I'm going to explain to you, and I would advise you, if you're the housekeeper, that you take that video down, because it's not going to look good for you. I've already got the video. I'm going to send it to your corporate, and I'm also filing a report with the police, because that put my family in danger. And I know the police really don't do much, but at this point, I don't got no choice. That put my family in danger, and you're a maid, you're not a worker, and you have no right sharing people's business. But I'm going to come on here and explain what happened, because I feel like it's very important for me to explain what's going on. So for reasons why I'm not going to be giving a lot of information, details, my business is my business. It's nobody else's business. So, as you know, like I said, my brother's the one that takes up the rent. There was some issues on his part, which is why if I had got paid from TikTok, I could have took up the rent until he fixed his issues with paying the rent. I'm not going to say anything to give away anything because it's my business. But she's a maid. Her friend, who is also a maid, was acting like she owned the place. She's rude, she hates her job, she doesn't like it, and if you don't like, because you're supposed to be hospitable, you know hospitality, right? You probably went for that. Like, you literally went for that. So I don't know why you're acting like you hate your job so much. If you hate your job, don't work.
And just like Vito Corleone, a man of few words, Tophiachu chimes in with her opinion on the situation.
Anyways, the one lady that is really nice and worked with us last time, right, because of the issues going on, I'm not going to mention what issues. It was not because I didn't get paid from TikTok. That is not what it was. I'm just going to state that.
Tophia would not limit her response to Squid with just one Instagram story. Even to this day, she is still complaining about Squid and threatening her. Tophia claims that Squid had absolutely no right to share this information about her online, and that she will be getting in contact with the proper authorities.
Yes, the lady that posted the video is a housekeeper. She's not telling you 100% of the full story. She doesn't know 100%, so I'm going to explain to you, and I would advise you, if you're the housekeeper, that you take that video down, because it's not going to look good for you. I've already got the video. I'm going to send it to your corporate, and I'm also filing a report with the police.
Squid did not take very kindly to these threats at all, even though they would have very little effect on her life. She had stated previously that the management was behind her and thought all of the exact stuff that she was saying, and Squid was one of the very few housekeepers in this entire complex. She had most definitely seen the conditions of Tophia's room, and it turns out that she had also taken some photographs, which at first she declined to release, but upon seeing the popularity of her Tophiachu videos, as well as the response from the Chu family, she decided to release the images, revealing their living situation to be extremely similar to their previous one.
I will also say the room is a little bit cleaner than I expected. It's still disgusting. It smells like piss, body odor, and fucking 10-year-old cooking grease. Like, there's so much grease on the light bulb over the stove that when I turned it on, it smelled like something was cooking. Here's all the brand new sheets we've been bringing in that they haven't been using. I don't want to know what that is.
There are mysterious stains on the walls that almost look like dried soda. Various appliances are broken, and a lot of the doors are ripped up from what I believe was probably Tophiachu. Either way, there was definitely enough damage done to this room to warrant them being kicked out, on top of the fact that they weren't making payments on time. Tophiachu started all of this by negatively discussing the complex in the first place, prompting Squid's initial response, and the whole situation has snowballed. It had become a full-blown avalanche at this point. Squid was now contacted by Tophiachu trolls trying to prompt her to film the family even more, and Tophia was enraged. After seeing the images that Squid had released, Tophia grew even angrier. What started out as a minor back and forth had become a full-blown TikTok war, with each of them continuing to produce videos on the other.
So I want to say this because I did see the photos that the housekeeper posted of my room. First of all, we didn't have time to get rid of whatever was in the room, right? So the room was left like that because we were rushed to get out. They didn't allow us to clean the room like they said we could. Like, the stuff that was left that we couldn't get and throw away, because that's not old food, mind you. That was our food we had just bought to eat, and now it has to go to the trash. Those are really good eggs. Nothing in there was old. That was all our good food that we had just bought, and it ended up going to the trash because they kept giving us big signals. The door that she showed was damaged before we got there. If we damaged anything, the stove she showed was like that because it was like that from before, from whoever did it.
It was at this point that Tophiachu had crafted the prime excuse for why the room was the way that it was. She previously stated that when they moved in, the room was already filthy, that it was so bad that the housekeepers offered for them to move to another room. But of course, the Chu family declined. They wanted to be polite, so they decided to keep this one, which they claimed was already dirty. Tophiachu would also claim that the room was already damaged, that there was no way that they could be responsible for any of this, and it's all the complex's fault.
My mom had to defrost the refrigerator, and it thankfully ran again. We had to shove all of our stuff in the freezer because we didn't have a refrigerator. Everything was going bad. On top of that, everything was damaged. Their countertop, the part where the countertops are, was coming apart because whoever was there damaged the room. And mind you, the lady that worked there before can vouch because she was disgusted when she saw what room we got. She was looking around the room in disgust because she couldn't believe this is the room we were given. On top of that, someone punched a hole in the closet door by the kitchen was punched by someone else. That room was nasty. And we literally sacrificed to stay there because we didn't want to move from room to room. And I am tired of these people not... There's only 2 maids that clean the whole building. If you look at the building, how big it is for 2 maids, and people quit. And you wonder why people quit.
People were pretty skeptical of Tophia's story. Why in the world would you willingly move yourself into a room that was already disgusting? God only knows what the other people had done to it, and you're going to just accept that? Personally, I think it's a load of baloney. I think that Tophiachu has a personal vendetta against this complex, and is going to say anything to lay the blame at their feet. But the reality is that there was no discussion of any of this until they were kicked out for not paying their rent. I am almost positive that Tophia would have discussed this heavily in her TikTok lives if it were true, but we hadn't heard a peep about the poor quality of the complex until they were threatening to kick them out. Tophiachu even had an excuse for the late payments. She asked the apartment complex to wait until the end of the day so that her brother could go and cash a check, but after pushing back the time frame 3 or 4 times, the complex eventually just told her to get out. Even still, this is unacceptable in Tophia's eyes, and she was not yet done letting the world know the injustice that she suffered at the hands of this motel.
I need to address this because this needs to be said. I'm running errands, and I don't need anyone to be thinking I'm sleeping out of my car. First of all, the maid had no rights to share any of my personal and private business, and it would be in her best interest not to respond to comments in her page because she's going to incriminate herself and lose her job. I got several videos I am sending over to corporate, and I'm going to make a call to let them know that she is putting my business out there. She's a maid, so she should not be telling anybody anything. Second of all, I did not talk about the maid. And if she sees this video, I didn't talk about you. I don't know you personally. You don't know me personally. Just because I'm a public figure doesn't give you the right to go and tell everyone my business because you don't know what I was going through or what I was struggling with online. You put my family in danger. That's all I'm going to say, because I'm not incriminating myself to get in trouble, and I'm sending this video to your job and your corporate. And I'm also, if it doesn't work, I'm reporting you to the police. I'm going to make a police report and let them know that they see what I can do about having those videos taken down, because you don't know anything about me. I am not the only sole winner, or not breadwinner, but the sole person that helps pay bills. And I'm not going to tell people my brother's business because no one needs to know where he works, if he works, or anything, because for protection and safety purposes. That's why I didn't tell people why I was leaving. And for you to come online and act like as if I was creating a sob story, I was keeping myself quiet for a reason, because I didn't want people to follow me and find out where I live, which now you have put my family in danger. Thank you very much. I did not say anything about a maid with weird piercings. I have my live streams fully recorded. You are not going to sit here and lie and say I talk about people that I live at. Why would I talk about the maids when I don't know them personally? She was nice. She came to our door and gave us our bedding. I didn't say anything rude about you. So don't listen to these trolls. And I would suggest the best advice, since maybe you don't want to take advice from me, is to take down those videos and stop responding to people before you lose your job. Because that is a second video that I have to send to your corporate office to get you fired because you wanted to come online and spew my business.
As you can see, Tophia was pissed. This whole beef had resulted in millions of views on Squid's TikToks, and tons of commenters telling her to do various things. Tophia couldn't help but go through these comments and watch these videos, so it's not a shocker that as time went on, Tophia's feelings towards the situation grew. She was not only angry, but also sad. Squid had made the comment that Tophiachu and her family were living like animals. This was in reference to the state of their apartment, which, as you saw, was less than clean. But Tophia would perceive this as a racist statement and create a TikTok displaying her feelings on what had been said.
You know, I try so hard to take care of myself, and the fact that people come online make fun of my hygiene because of one video I got bullied at my job. And the funny thing about it is, well, it's not funny, but is I can't do anything about this stuff because people justify it. You know, I got bullied at work, where I used to work, because of my hygiene, which the coworker said that was not true. She was lying. And I come on the internet and make this video, and I didn't get fired because of hygiene. But then people want to say it's about my hygiene. I've been having to address rumors left and right. Well, this girl gets to make videos. It's not fair to me and my family. But we just gotta let it happen. You know, I didn't call the police to talk to them. My brother did, because he had enough. And I said the police ain't gonna do anything. Sure enough, they said it's civil. The only thing we could tell her to do is to stop recording videos about you guys. Did they? I don't think they told her anything. Like, it's crazy that I have to let someone have the whole internet think I'm harassing her when she's harassing me. It's crazy to literally crap on someone. And the amount of classes comments of people saying, I'm in a house. Well, good for you. I want to be at the ground. I can't do this anymore. It's hard. It's hard. I'm trying to do the best that I can for my family, and it's never good enough. And then to have my business spewed on the internet and be told that I can't do anything about it. It's not right. I haven't been able to cry since the situation because I want people to see that and be like, are you okay? Because I feel they're going to judge me. And the one thing that sucks is I saw a comment from a shelter we have here where someone said, why do you give homeless people stuff for free? No wonder why they're going to keep being homeless. Like, it's comments like that. I see people sleeping out in the cold and no one cares. But yet we're made to feel like criminals, or that we're not allowed to be homeless. I couldn't even move my brother couldn't move his car. But yeah, I had to stay and endure harassment because, oh, she's going to work. Like, people masking it as her going to work. I couldn't even go into the thrift store without feeling bad. Like, I needed to go to the restroom, and I had so much anxiety running into people. But I had no choice, you know?
While I do feel for Tophiachu in this situation, my sympathy is a little stunted, mostly by the fact that she had just previously made fun of Squid's appearance heavily, and will often insult people based upon their physical looks or things that they cannot change. So for me, and I believe many others, it makes it harder to feel sympathy over Tophia receiving ridicule for the things that she's done to other people. While Squid had commented on their living situation and their behavior a great many times, I never once heard her insult Tophia or her family's physical appearance. But Tophia now claims that all of this stems from racism as well as classism. This, coupled with the extremely divisive 2024 election, created a new form of Tophiachu content. These would be political rants, rants on certain candidates, geopolitical issues, and of course, inequality in America. I think that these rants show more than what appears on the surface. Tophia likes to make it sound like she is tackling these issues as a whole, but she really only ends up discussing personal problems that her and her family face, leading many to believe that she does not care about these issues, only what affects her personally.
People are calling out people in the comment section for sitting in the comment section saying, watching this from my king size bed. That is very much classism. Because why are you talking down on someone who can't afford to live? Mind you, I was paying rent for a place monthly and got kicked out because someone harassed the place. But yet, y'all say get an apartment, go rent. But we literally got kicked out of a place we were renting that was a studio. Does that make any sense? Plus, I want to state this for people that are not going to watch a 10-minute long video. You are not an animal for being homeless and needing to use the restroom, especially because I didn't use the restroom when the housekeeper walked by. But I'm not going to go around and call homeless people an animal. When you don't live in Albuquerque, you don't know how hard it is to get to a restroom. You can't use the restroom unless you're a paying customer, and there are no free restrooms, except if you go to the library. Which, there's a library downtown, but it's not close to where people get off the bus. And imagine needing the restroom so badly, especially for disabled people that get off at the bus station. They closed the restroom down because of homeless people. Why does she feel the need to call me an animal when I'm just sitting in my car? I'm not an animal sitting in my car. And I mean my brother's car, mind you. I was just sitting in the car. How am I an animal for that? Like, it doesn't make sense to dehumanize someone and say you're an animal because you're sitting in the car. Valid point if you have an issue with people using the restroom outside. It's a public property though. And it was not by her work. And people have to run to use the restroom. Like, people have accidents all the time. I'm supposed to just, like, and we went to the thrift store to use the restroom. We were going to the thrift store to use the restroom, so I'm made to be feel dehumanized because I'm referred to as an animal. My feelings don't matter. It sucks. I'm not an animal because I can't afford to live. I'm not an animal because I can't control my bladder. It makes me feel less of a human. And to have people sit here and tell me that I'm not a human being, that it's not racism. Because of my feelings being invalidated because people say I'm a horrible person. That's not fair. We got harassed by police for no reason because she kept calling the police because she wants to victimize herself. We wasn't even bothering her. She was like in comments saying she was going to film me. That she was going to record me. For what? We wasn't even there at their property or at their place anymore. And we didn't get evicted because our room was dirty. We got on a do not rent list because of our rents. Because my brother had issues I'm not going to get into or tell anyone because it's not fair. We can't move. We couldn't tow the car. We can't move. It's an unmovable car. It's not fair to us how we get treated. I can't even take care of myself. I can't even take care of my hygiene. I can't even take care of my hygiene. And I'm literally ridiculed and made fun of because I grow hair. Because I look a certain way. And I have to come out light to be referred to as an animal because I'm sitting in my car and she wants everyone to feel bad for her. When she's the one who came on social media and made the video first.
Tophiachu would mention a video that Squid had taken while walking to work. As previously stated, Tophia and her family are staying in a car just down the street from the motel they'd been kicked out of. The car cannot move and is located very close to a thrift store which they use for the restroom when they can. And it seems like during one of Squid's morning TikToks on her way to work, Tophia thought that she was filming her. It even sounds like she might have been using the restroom, which she even states they don't always have access to a bathroom, so interpret that as you will. Truth be told, I feel sympathy for Tophia and her family in this situation. It's gotta be hard. But the sympathy really only goes so far. All of these things that Tophia is claiming people have done to her, she has done to other people. Making fun of their appearance, making fun of their hygiene, making fun of their living situation. All of it. And this is what irks a lot of people about her content. It seems like the rules are for thee and not for me. So you could only imagine what the public sentiment has been about all of this. Tophia constantly tries to turn people against Squid only for them to like her more. Tophia has been going on about Squid for weeks now, still blaming her for a great many things. But the overwhelming support of Squid was starting to get to Tophia, which only meant that she was going to defend herself more vehemently, and one day she absolutely popped off. In a series of Instagram stories as well as a live stream, Tophia has an absolute meltdown over Squid, who she claims is once again meddling in her life.
The food in the refrigerator was food we just bought, which now got thrown away. Brand new meats, everything we had just bought, groceries. The rest of the stuff he left was like empty boxes and things because he was in a hurry. He had to pack his stuff and go because not only that, they were harassing us. The other housekeeper kept harassing us. The lady had just inspected not too long ago and said our room was clean and said that we're cleared. So I don't know why she's lying when we had random inspections. Our room was not dirty when the maid came in to check it. Let her have proof of the pictures. Proof of what? Pictures of damages we didn't do and that we didn't have time to clean the room? Which, mind you, they came and did inspections, so let her say that. Proof of what? Pictures of what? Of a place that was left because we had to get what we couldn't get out? Well, I received a video where someone said that I was yelling at my mom on live because Squid said so. Hello, someone sent me a video. I just woke up to that video in my DMs where someone said that I need to care about my mother's safety because Squid said, and Squid did call Adult Protective Services. They didn't find anything wrong again because I had left to go charge mine and my mom's phone because we needed our phone.
Tophiachu's anger towards Squid grows by the day. She has threatened her with legal action numerous times and tried to get her fired. This has only caused Squid to make more content exposing Tophia even further. Tophia wants to claim that they did no damage to the room. This is all just an angry housekeeper lashing out at this poor family. But this is far from the truth, as Squid would reveal that the damage to the room was deeper than we even thought.
We had to throw away both of the mattresses in your room because they were soaked with piss. Okay. I don't think in the year and a half, almost 2 years that I've worked at that hotel, that we've had to throw out a mattress. Y'all pissed all over the fucking mattresses. I'm gonna say it again. Animals. You act like animals. Okay? And you did dox me. And now the gloves are off, okay? I was not doxing you. And then you had to go and name the place that I worked twice, okay? Okay? So you better pray that the next time you see me, I don't see you.
Squid discussed something very interesting in that video aside from the mattresses. She said that Tophia had doxed her. I think what she means is that Tophia named out the motel that she was previously staying at. This has enraged Squid, and I see no signs of this feud stopping. All the other matters aside, let's get down to the facts of Tophiachu's current situation. Her father was just taken back to jail. Housekeeper is missing, presumed dead. Mama Chu seems pretty sick. Brother Chu has trolls harassing him at his job, and every single member of the family is homeless in the winter time. Granted, it has been a pretty mild winter, and they are located in New Mexico, but still, I think you get what I'm saying here. In my previous video over the Chu family, I said that these were some of the darkest days in their lore. Tophia had been banned from live streaming, and then of course there was all the drama with Papa Chu. And only after making this video did I realize that things have only been getting worse. Ever since Tophia put herself on the internet, things have only gotten bleaker for the family. All of this time trying to build a TikTok audience with almost nothing to show for it, when she could have left TikTok years ago, worked a job, and helped contribute towards that stable environment she always talks about. On the off chance that you're watching Tophia, I cannot recommend enough for you to get a job. I know that it might seem unpleasant, but it is much better than the situation your family finds themselves in currently. I really don't think that Mama Chu is doing well medically. She really needs to get looked at for that cough. There's just a lot of things that you could actually do to improve your family's prospects, but you're doing the exact opposite by getting involved in yet another TikTok beef. The only people who benefit from this Squid situation are your trolls, who now have a semi-unified banner to march under. Squid's videos exposing you have accumulated millions of views and tens of thousands of likes. This is an unwinnable situation for all parties involved, if I'm being completely honest. I would also advise Squid to drop it. She has some very good points against Tophia, but from what I've seen, getting involved in stuff like this brings no good into your life. There are going to be people that look into every aspect of your life, and in my opinion, the views are just not worth it. Do I think that either of them would listen to this advice if they even heard it? Probably not. They are both enraged at the other party, and that can affect your ability to think clearly. Neither of them are seeing the long-term consequences that could come from this TikTok beef. But one thing I can almost say for certain is that all of this is heading nowhere good.